Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to MK Convenience Brokerage. My name is Mohammed. In this video, I'm going to explain to you what the mandated child reporting, identifying, reporting child abuse and maltreatment. Now, what it is, I'm going to explain to you as quick as possible. I don't want to take a lot of people's time explaining a half an hour video for more than an hour. It's going to be even quicker than half an hour. So, if a child abuse is basically if you're a licensed teacher, a guidance counselor, anyone that dealing with children, you need to be certified as mandated reporter. So basically, this small video clips will teach you about certain things that I was taught, and I'm going to help you guys out as well. So you need to know as a mandated reporter, what are the signs you need to report child abuse and neglect. So you're going to be learning about some of the legal matters. You'll be learning about the physical and behavioral indication that if a child is being abused, such and such. So I'm going to help you guys out as much as I can. Training overview. There's a training you have to take if you guys want to be properly certified. There's a training that you usually have to take. I mean, without the training, you without taking the class and getting certified, you won't be able to become a mandated reporter. So that's keeping that in mind. The introduction training is basically they're gonna be welcoming you. You'll learn the legal framework. You'll learn about child abuse, maltreatment, neglect, what it is, on what type of treatment, the indication, the factors. You'll learn some exercises with it, evaluation your responses. You'll learn that how to make the call for CPS, Child Protective Services, where do they located, how do you do it. I mean, they will teach you everything, once you take the class and how everything basically works. Mandated reporter, this is the penal law. Obviously, these are the certain people that I was telling you that are become mandatory reporters. As you can see, there's a bunch of list over here of people that are mandatory reporters, section such as a section. Obviously, physicians, pediatrics, school officials, peace officer, police officers. These are all people. So any person of obviously that reports a case with respect to child abuse and maltreatment who willfully fail to do so shall be guilty of Class A misdemeanor. That's very important. If you know that a person's been abused, a child abuse, and if you don't report it, it's a Class A misdemeanor. So make sure if you see the signs, report them right then and there. Don't delay. Obviously, any person, official, or constitution participating in good faith in the providing of service pursuant to Section 424 of this title, making the report, taking a photograph of the removal of keeping of child pursuant to the section, shall have immunity from any liability, civil or criminal matter. What that basically means, if you make a report, don't worry. Even if the report ends up not being true, let's say if you suspected it and you made a report and they found out not being true, don't worry. You're still covered because you did this in good faith. Rather than waiting too long for a child and then something happens to them, you think of the safety of the child first than anything else. Obviously, child abuse family court. There's courts for these children that help them out. For they give you instincts, infliction about child or injury, what to do, what number to call. There's sexual crime sections in the law that talk more about this context. Obviously, they teach you about physical, mental, and emotional condition that you put in factors of child abuse and neglect and maltreatment. There are also certain subjects that fail to create a minimum degree. Obviously, supplying adequate food, clothing, and shelter, that's also considered as neglect. Supplying adequate education. These are some of the things you can read through, and you can see that children are like flowers in a garden. You have to keep on watering them. Once you stop watering them, what happens to even a regular plant? It ends up, getting a little bit of bloom and then end up dying. The children, you have to take care of them. So you don't want to let them be abused as a mandated reporter and let them go towards the end that something bad happens to them. You don't want that part. So make sure you keep that in mind. So these are normal bruising areas and suspicious bruising areas. So make sure you see the signs. For example, normal bruising areas are elbows, knees, and shins. Suspected is if they have something on the buttock, backs of thigh, backs of calves, or back itself. So these are some of the suspected behavior. The child's physical indicator, obviously, it all depends on what it is. Unexplained bruises and welts on face, lips, and mouth. You see them, they're damaged over here. Unexplained fractures to the skull, nose, and fractal structure in the various stages of healing. Obviously, unexplained burns, that's the main one. Like, for example, cigarette burns, or back of arms or torso, human bite marks, Obviously, these are some of the things to keep that in mind. On the unexplained glass surgery operation, mouth, lips, gums, eyes, access genitalia. So, these are some of the things you could obviously read through on your own as well, that you have to find out. I mean, now you can't remember everything, but when a child is in pain, they might be embarrassed not to talk about it. If they've been sexually abused, if they might be afraid of their caregiver that's been abusing them, that they don't want to, basically tell on somebody else, because they could get in trouble. I mean, these are children we're talking about. Child physical indicator, obviously, as well. Child behavioral indicator, parents behavioral indicating, like what they do, and like, I mean, these are some of the factors that you can always look into it if you're as a manager reporter. Parents behavior indicator, I mean, they treat children in the family unequally, doesn't seem to care much about family problems, blames belittles child. I mean, these are some of the behavioral problems, so always make sure you look into it as well. The child's physical indicator as well, difficulty in walking or sitting, this physical indicator. Obviously, bruises and bleeding, these are physical, and the behavioral part is poor personal heart relationship. They're aggressive, disruptive. Certain in classrooms, you could tell as teachers, exactly fear of closeness or physical contact. And this parent behavior indicator, perpetrated jealousy of child, misuses of alcohol or other drugs. I mean, have low self-esteem. These are some of the part. If you're talking with the children, always make sure you find a private place. You don't want to be in front of other children, so they don't want to be embarrassed. Always remain calm. Always be honest. Be supportive. Listen to the child, what the child has today. Stress that this is not the child's fault. A lot of children will take them and blame on themselves. You don't want that. Obviously, don't overact, make judgments or any type of promises that might affect the child. Don't interrogate the child like you're a detective of a precinct, because you don't want to do that, obviously. Resources that causes a suspect. Obviously, certainly proof is not required before reporting suspected child abuse or neglect. The law purposely requires only reasonable cause to suspect that a child is abused or maltreated. A reasonable cause to suspect means that based on what you have observed, I mean, that's reasonable cause. And there's information for an oral report as well. This is the number right over here for obviously for Child Protective Services, CPS. Always keep that in mind. Obviously over here, and they do ask for certain information. For example, if you want to be anonymous, you could do that as well. You don't have to give you information, but if you really want to care about the child, you make the report even more better, like looking into it. Always you could give your name and information. That will make them look into it, because now they have a reliable source to back up. Obviously, make sure to keep that in mind. This is New York State Child Protective versus Services System. Call to the CSR. Law enforcement referable, report not registered, report registered. I mean, you could look through it and how they have these services that they see what you're supposed to do and everything. And obviously, these are the reporting center phone number, state central register for child abuse and maltreatment. These are all the numbers. Keep that in mind. Keep it with you, just in case if you guys ever need it in the future. Obviously, this video is up, and then you can always look into it. So thank you for the time to watch this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any other questions, comment, concern, please comment, like, subscribe. I'll try my best to help you guys out as much as possible. If any questions about this, I'll try my best to help you guys out. Thank you for your time to watch this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.